You know, I'm really not that surprised. Hey, what's up, fight nerds? I hope you're doing all right. This is your boy Gershon, and today we're going to be talking about UFC 253. Now, if you love mixed martial arts, UFC, Bellator, boxing, whatever, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel because we talk about tons of stuff as well as comic books and all types of other things. So, yeah, let's get right to it. So, UFC 253 just passed this Saturday, and it was a pretty crazy event. I think from top to bottom, the previous card with Colby Covington and Tyron Woodley was a little bit more stacked. However, there was still some pretty entertaining fights to happen on this night. And obviously we had the co-main and the main event, which was awesome. Both of them were awesome because obviously my guy won in the main event, and I was pleasantly surprised in the co-main. So let's just talk about some fights that came before that I thought are pretty cool to mention anyway. First off, we can start off with all the fights from City Kickboxing, or the CKB boys, the guys on Israel Adesanya's team. They went 2 for 4. There was 4 of them they had fights, obviously including Israel Adesanya. The first fight was Shane Young and Ludovic Klein. Now, Ludovic Klein actually missed weight, and he knocked out Shane Young, right? So there was one down for CKB, and then the next fight, the last fight for the prelim card was Brad Riddell versus Alex de Silva. Now, that was actually really cool because Alex de Silva pretty much put on a major onslaught in the first round, and Brad Riddell was getting taken down and kind of manhandled a little bit, but he weathered that storm, and then second and third rounds were all his. De Silva looked visibly gassed, and he was just being very technical, picking his shots, something that seems like to be a signature for a lot of the guys in City Kickboxing. And then on the main card, Kai Kara-France fought Brandon Royval, which was a great, it started off just explosive, right? Kai Kara-France obviously had the power advantage. He definitely did. He got a couple of knockdowns, but then Brandon Royval hit him with a surprise spinning back elbow, which put him on his butt. And then Brandon Royval's experience with BJJ really showed. He definitely was dominating on the ground, which is why the finish to that fight was a bit weird, because if someone is out grappling you, you don't ever want to put yourself in a grappling situation when you understand that standing up is the best way to go. But while he was standing up with him, which, by the way, Brandon Royval was actually putting together some beautiful combinations, but still, Kai Kara-France's best bet was still standing up. He went for a double leg, and obviously in a double leg, you expose your neck, and Brandon Royval just gave him a guillotine, and obviously he was going to go for it. He's high-level jiu-jitsu is what it looks like, and Kai Kara-France got submitted. So, unfortunately, from there, at that point, it was really 1 out of 3. So, yeah, but those were great matches there. They were great matches. They were cool. Well, at least while they lasted. And yeah, so that's it for the CKB boys, unfortunately. We also had Hakeem Duodu and Zubaira Tukhugov, which you would have thought would have been more competitive. It wasn't. Zubaira literally, he was landing a couple 1-2s, and he shot for takedowns, but they started getting really desperate, and Hakeem started shrugging him off and just popping him with pretty much whatever he wanted. Leg kicks. And it got pretty one-sided. And Zubaira, another guy who missed weight, right? So a common theme, right? But it was pretty cool, especially at the end when Zubaira was kind of being a little standoffish, and Hakeem was kind of taunting him because he wanted him to come forward to him. Either way, Hakeem won anyway, so good on him. He won that by decision. And then the next fight was Caitlyn Vieira and Sajara Eubanks. Now, Sajara, she's already won two times this year. It was her 3rd fight, so this would have been cool. She would have got the hat trick. But Caitlyn Vieira made sure she dominated her on the floor, because that was really her thing. When you have a specialty, go for it. And Sajara's actually really good at wrestling too. She's not a slouch on the ground either. It's just that Caitlyn was just making sure she used her height and length a little bit better. And on the feet, she was doing her thing as well. But it was a very, very entertaining match. Some people might say probably one of the most entertaining matches until you got to the co-main and main event card. So yeah, good job for Caitlyn. She won that via decision as well. Now let's talk about the co-main event for the light heavyweight championship between Dominick Reyes and Jan Blachowicz. So a lot of people just watching, I guess maybe understanding the fight math of this, everybody was like, you know what, let's just take Dominick Reyes on this. He's fast, He's got a lot of accuracy, super active, good footwork, and Jan is very slow, flat-footed, takes a little bit to get started. So easy Dominick Reyes. Definitely not. What I loved about this fight was that Jan, instead of trying to keep up with the pace of Dominick, he slowed this fight down. And he had Dominick so worried about the right hand that Dominick wasn't even looking at the left body kick that hit him literally only 3 times. And actually, after the first 2, his body was marked up severely. Like, it hurt. And so Jan does this thing that I really hate. It's like when he does like this weird, like he walks forward with his punches very flat-footed. Here's the thing. He didn't do that the whole match. He did it twice. And he only did it when he saw that Dominick was up against the cage and he couldn't really get away from that barrage. And the second time he did it was the finishing sequence. And it actually, the finish didn't even come from the right hand. It came from a left hook, which in turn made Dominick, go on his chicken legs, and he finished the fight. Now, once again, a lot of people saw Dominick before this. He came from fighting John Jones and be like, oh my gosh, he did that against him. Should be able to do that against here. But Jan literally brought his A game here and did not chase after him, didn't try to have the same fight with him. He was like, well, I'm going to play to my strengths. I'm going to make this slower. And Dominick did not adjust to that. And I think he probably thought he was going to run through Jan as well. And it cost him. But definitely congrats to Jan on that one. Like, he definitely deserved to get this. However, do I think that it's going to be the same later? Because Thiago Santos and Glover Teixeira are pretty much fighting to see who's going to fight him next. And if Santos wins, Santos already beat Jan. So I'm wondering, like, is going to be a repeat of that? But if he does beat him, then we get a rematch of that. And that would be interesting. They actually have very, very, very interesting styles. I think Santos would probably beat him again, but who knows? So the same thing about Dominick Reyes, right? Jan maybe just getting started at 37. But yeah, great fight. Let's get to what we've all been waiting for, and that was for the middleweight championship, right? That is Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa, right? Now, depending on which side you were coming from, either you were going Paulo Costa, just gonna run through him, he's just too strong. Those hits not gonna do nothing to him, he's just gonna run through him. Or you thought, Adesanya was gonna be a striking wizard, and I was in that camp. Like, I love great striking. He is a striking wizard, and from the beginning, I was always like, this guy, like, for what Costa likes to do. Costa loves to stand up. Yes, he's got a jiu-jitsu black belt, but that's great once you get on the floor. But how many times have you seen him do those takedowns? Last time I saw him doing takedowns over and over again was when he was on The Ultimate Fighter in Brazil. No, last time I kept seeing him do that, but not really so much as he's been taking people out this time. It's always been through a barrage of strikes. However, those people who Costa was taking out through those barrages of strikes were people who just largely stood there. And like I said, the Ngannou effect. Oh, power's coming. Let me just back up in one straight line. No. Now you have someone who's like, okay, I see those power punches. I have more range than you do. Now I'm going to move out the way. And like I said, he relies a lot on body shots, but he has shorter arms. So he needs you to get into like brawling range. Adesanya didn't do that. And we saw that fight. Adesanya literally sat there, took apart his left leg, his left lead leg, and he did the classic thing, it doesn't hurt. When a person says that, it hurts. It always hurts. When they go, I'm good, that doesn't hurt. It always does. Let him tear it up. He hit him 15 times in the first round for leg kicks. That leg was done. It was done. After that, everyone was trying to say like, oh man, why didn't Acosta do what he normally does? Why doesn't he chase him down? Really? The couple times where he actually did get Izzy against the cage, he got framed up against the cage, got a couple of good body shots, and then it went right back to the center. So it wasn't like he could do what he normally does with people. He already sees the footwork. When you're in the ring with someone who you see already has the movement advantage and is punishing you every single time that you're getting to a certain place, yeah, it's not good. So Israel did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He was going to outclass him standing up. After that first round, going into the second round, he already saw he was compromised. And instead of what you needed to see from Costa, because his thing to win was to try and walk people down, you saw him backing up. And he was getting walked down, which if that's happening now, Adesanya is smelling blood. And it went from him now not just throwing kicks, then he threw that left high kick, which his shin cut Costa right in the eye, and that was the beginning of the end, because then he started getting a little desperate, ran into a left hook, very similar to how he got Robert Whittaker, and that's all she wrote. Now, we can say whatever we want about the aftermatch antics, it is what it is, I won't, it is what it is. But as far as what happened in the match, it was beautiful. That's what needed to happen. And I know a lot of people were like, nah, like he's strong, he should be able to. That's not what was at stake here. They were wrestling. sure, maybe you'd have a good argument for like size and strength, but they weren't. Like, this was largely like a kickboxing match. And are you going to really bet against the person who's had 75 kickboxing matches? No, that wouldn't be smart. So definitely congrats to Izzy. That's exactly who I wanted to win. We were watching that fight on Saturday. Everybody on the phone, except for one, you know who you are, wanted this person to win. They wanted Costa to win. Well, yeah, this person, but we all wanted Izzy. And yeah, that was great. That was an awesome match and an awesome outcome. Exactly what needed to happen. Now I'm just gonna end the video there. We got some upcoming fights like Home and Aldana. They're fighting on this Saturday. I believe after that we have like Sanhagen and Reyes, and then we have Zombie and Ortega later on in the month, and then we end off with Gaethje and Khabib Nurmagomedov. So October is going to be pretty awesome. Make sure you don't miss that. Once again, if you agree with these, you're like, oh man, my guy didn't win. I thought this was this. Or if you go in the main event, go Costa should have won. Or if you're like a kid, like Izzy ran, whatever you have to say, put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Keep on watching these fights. Keep on practicing if you fight. And also don't forget to enter the nerd.